I had a spicy sandwich for dinner, and I think that's the cause.
No, like spicy, regular spicy, like what people would consider spicy, or because I'm old, my gut can't take it anymore, so now that's
Uh,
considered spicy.
can it be both?
Probably.
Because Potbelly's jalapeno hot peppers are extremely delicious and hot. And I can't do a sandwich there without it, even though I'm trying to cut back on my spicy foods because of number two things you said there, the second one.
Well, I was gonna say because of number two.
Because I number two a lot.
Yeah, it's spicy going in, it's spicy going out.
That's right.
Am I still an iron gut, or am I become a soft palate?
For the record, I've never been an iron gut. Thank you very much. But, and to top it off, my wife brought home a delicious vanilla shake from there, which of course means dairy, which of course means lactose intolerance.
It kicks in.
Kicks in, and suddenly they wonder why my gas really stinks the next day.
It's like that's the thing they wonder. It's like,
Right.
Well, as if it doesn't any other time. It's like, are you picking jasmine?
Right.
What is that?
It doesn't.
Fresh rose petals thrown in the air?
You're listening to And This Is Why I Love Comics.
Andy and Mike. Andy and Mike.
He's so tired and old.
Why am I saying this out loud?
Hey everybody, welcome to And This Is Why I Love Comics. I'm not Andy.
I'm not Andy either.
Right. No one's Andy. No one claims to be Andy here, but
No.
chances are I am. Chances are you're Mike.
Yeah, that's a pretty solid chance.
It's kind of how
Have
it
you ever
works.
wondered about the origins of nicknames? I mean, like Andrew is the full spelled out Andrew, but wouldn't it be like Andree or something like that? Because there's an R, but nope, we cut it off right at the end of the D. We got the first three letters and you're done. We just slap a little Y on the end of it.
Right. Well, when I took Spanish, my Spanish name was Andres. Whether that is the actual translation, I don't know. That's what they call it.
Yeah, I've been holding to that all these years.
Yeah. But I mean, it gets even weirder because, how does Richard become Dick without making it a joke? But it's,
Yeah, there's a few, and I always like the
Robert,
feminine
Bob.
version of nicknames as well. Like Michael goes to Michelle. Robert becomes Roberta. It's just like we just throw one extra vowel on it, and it's completely different.
Do you know what you would have been called if you were a female from your parents? What other name they had?
No, that was the thing. I mean, they mentioned it probably a few times, but yeah, my mom never had that opportunity. 4 boys, and that was that.
Right.
And I think after kid number 3, it's like, okay,
Why even bother?
why bother even picking
It's
a
a
girl's
boy.
name? Because it's pretty. These genes seem to be heading a certain way every single time.
Well, I mean,
So-
my last child was a girl, so I went the other way on that one. But the rest are boys. But
Yeah.
if I was born a girl, my mom long ago told me that I would have been Jennifer. I, of course, rebelled.
I see you as a
on that.
Jennifer.
Yeah, I think so. I think it would have fit.
Both of my kids, I mean, with the second one, we knew the gender well in advance, but still didn't have a name. And in fact, she was born and still didn't have a name for almost a week. They basically said, we can't really let you even out of the hospital unless you have named this child. And it's like, we just struggled. And it was mostly due to, I don't like that name because I worked with somebody who had that name, or I
Yep.
don't like that name because that reminded me of a person that I didn't like that name.
Yeah.
One of them, and it was Avery. And the reason why I said no to that was because the paper company that does all like the sticker labels,
Yeah.
and it's like, that's Avery Labels. That's Avery. You know, and it's like, no, I'm not going to name my child after paper products.
Yeah, we had
And so-
a similar problem with child number 4 when he was born.
Now, what have you ever entertained the idea of naming your child after some other like random item, like carburetor?
No.
Apparently that was a solid trend that was going, and I think it still continues, where especially naming children after car parts.
Well, my one son, Socket Wrench, you know, he really wondered where his name was coming from. So,
Oh yeah, I remember SW,
yeah.
Earth Mover. You know, I mean, all those backhoe, the
Right.
gutter. You know,
Yeah.
that doesn't go over well.
Probably not really appropriate for a name, you know.
I had a kid that was a foreign exchange student from Germany, and if you mispronounced his name, it was rather uncomfortable. But it was, if I can remember the correct pronunciation, it was like urine or something like that. But if you pronounce it like a lazy American approach, it would have been urine.
Right.
And it was like, uh-oh. It's like, no, you don't want the name of urine. You
What's
want
his last name for it now?
urine for it now. I can't remember what book that was in, but it's one of those image parodies. But oh my gosh, that was so good. The only line I think we actually read in that whole parody book, but it was so worth it.
Right.
It's like, this is worth the cover price for one panel.
And this I remember for years and years. I can't remember important things.
No.
You're
Gettysburg
in for it now.
Address? Nope. Nothing like that. Yeah. It's dear listener, if you ever come across a Youngblood parody comic, it had a single frame with a water-based character. Very unique approach on water-based powers.
Oh, man. So if this is your first time listening, it's probably not, but welcome. This is what we do. We're old friends who talk about old things and new. We have 27 episodes for you to enjoy. Welcome to Season 2 again. This is the 3rd episode of Season 2. I'm a little behind on my recordings. It's all my fault. I take the full brunt of the blame, but we're getting back into the rhythm here, and we're gonna fill your ear holes with wholesome goodness, fuddy-duddiness. My wife got me a dad joke calendar, so I've been torturing them all with the dad jokes for a little while now, and yeah, I'm making them pay for all the trouble they give me by telling them bad jokes.
Yeah, and the best time to unleash that is on a long road trip. It's like you've got nowhere to go, and all you can do is just sit there and just be, washed over by bad dad joke after dad joke.
I went to lunch today with our mutual friend Dave.
Yes, and a former co-host for an episode.
Right, yeah, role-playing episode. We had lunch. Me and my daughter had lunch with him today. That was pretty fun. It was nice to see him.
Yeah, it's that kind of time of the year when it's like, you gotta get it in before winter strikes, because no one's going nowhere once the snow starts coming.
Right, yeah.
Everybody just kind of stays and keeps themselves indoors. So
Yep.
if you want to get and be social for even the briefest bit longer, now's the time to do it.
And you and I saw each other a couple weeks ago. That was nice. And we, so I've been actually hanging out with people. That's pretty nice. Old friends.
Yeah, it was good. I mean, we sold a bunch of toys. releasing bits of childhood as
You
but
let them
going
loose.
hopefully to new homes.
Right. Happier homes, or I mean, equally
happy.
equally happy homes. I didn't mean it to come out that way, but
I'm not going to take offense to that. No. Yeah, they'll have to scrape my name off the bottom of every one of the characters' shoes, and
suckers.
it's a sentimental moment. Yeah, of, like Toy Story 3.
Yeah. Have you gotten snow yet?
Just like enough to cause a dusting that you could take a quick photo, but I mean, it was gone within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
How many years do you remember where it snowed on Halloween, or it was so cold on Halloween that you actually had to go out in costume, but with a winter coat on?
Yeah, quite a few growing up. Mostly, I mean, it almost inevitably rains.
Yeah.
So, it's either rain or snow. It's rarely ever a nice day. I can recall maybe a handful of nice days, like suddenly a warm up or something. But mostly, yeah, snowy coat over your costume.
Kind of keeping the Halloween theme here a little bit, but the question, was there ever like a time window you remember as a kid? I just remembered we would just start trick-or-treating, and when our feet got tired, we were done. I don't, because like now it's like trick-or-treating starts right at 5, and it's like, who's home at 5 to even do this?
Right.
And then it wraps up by 7. It's like, you got 2 hours?
Right. Well, those were simpler times back then, Mike. And
True.
But when we were young, it was when it was just getting dark to when it was pitch black, 11:30. We would be finally done. We'd have the big old pillowcase, and we'd fill it all up, and we'd go as far as we can for as long as we can. And it was an all-night event, and there were tons of people walking around. Now it took a while for us to even get a few Halloween people, but we get maybe 30, 40 at the most.
My mom mentioned that she got like 2, or I think even last year, none. And it's like, what? You gotta be kidding me. But then she also said that, the universally accepted symbol of availability for trick-or-treating was that you'd leave your front porch light on. She was like the only one on the whole block that had the light on.
Oh, yeah. So you're not going to get
So like
too
no
many
one's going to go
people.
down that neighborhood if there's only one house with a light on.
And we're guilty of it too. Like, we have 5 kids, but we've rarely ever just gone out with them. We did maybe early on, and I have 2 little ones now, and we still haven't really taken them out. Now they're just getting to the age where they could actually walk by themselves and not get tired after 10 seconds.
Yeah.
But even
the
then,
prospect of candy should have been enough to motivation.
right? Even then, we'll take them out really. Maybe stop at a couple places of people we know, but even it's not like it used to be. So it's I'm not sure I want to get them doing that on a regular basis. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a old guy who doesn't want to go out in the cold rain. That's probably some of it.
Yeah, I saw something that I thought was like, if this is how it's being done, I think I'm kind of done with the Halloween, trick-or-treaters. A good friend of mine, we would go over to his house because they would have trick-or-treaters. I live basically surrounded by a bunch of people whose kids have all outgrown, and they're all in their retirement, so there's no one coming down our road. And we kind of got tired of no one coming to trick-or-treat, so then we went over and kind of helped pass out candy at a friend's house. And in doing so, we had seen where like parents would like come to the end of the neighborhood, open up the door, and just a horde of kids would come pouring out of that vehicle, and they would just like Vikings out of a boat, and then they would just pillage the neighborhood of candy and then get back in the vehicle and then go to another neighborhood somewhere. But that I thought, well, it's like, okay, well, if you feel like, it's either 1, safer to go to this neighborhood, or 2, this is like where, the good stuff is found is at this neighborhood. So let's go there. And, if it takes us all to get in the car to do it and hit the time frame, that's fine too. But the one that I was like going, okay, I'm done if this is the case. It was a parent just going about like 2 miles an hour and would stop the car. They were in the car in the middle of the road, stop the car and yell at the kid, go to this house. They got their light on. And then drive and then stop another house and then drive and then stop. And it was blocking traffic. People couldn't get around this person because he was just like driving right down the middle of the road. That like helicopter parenting from a car in the street was like, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. That's now officially the lamest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, what's the point? You might as well have your kids knock on your own door and just give out candy that you bought to them. And while you're cozy inside, with your coffee.
Circle around the house and do this again.
Do it again.
That'll make you feel like you've gone around trick-or-treating.
Right.
Not to, again, go like, oh, back in our day.
But back in our day,
candy was, like almost a thing of myth. I mean, it was virtually up there with, like unicorns, Sasquatches, and Kit Kats. It was just like, what is this thing you refer to? So that Halloween, when that came by, it was like, you worked because this was going to be your candy that's going to last you for a while.
Right. Till the next Halloween.
You would try to stretch it. That's what I was going to ask. It's like, did you ever try to stretch the candy supply that you received on Halloween out far?
Absolutely. I'm not a big candy person. I mean, I am in some instances, but like
depends on what kind of candy.
I'm a big chocolate person, so right away I'd eat my chocolate stuff, and then everything else would last me the rest of the year.
What was the absolute last piece of candy that you would, eat and not just throw away?
Oh, probably back then it would have been something fruity, anything like a fruity Tootsie Roll or anything like that, or like I'm more of a traditionalist, if you didn't understand that already by listening to the podcast. But, so don't flavor my Tootsie Rolls. Give me some straight chocolate. Don't put cherry flavor. But anything minty usually was the last things because I didn't.
Oh man,
care.
Do you ever get like those like Lifesaver mint peppermint Lifesavers?
Yeah, the candy,
individually wrapped.
The chalky cigarettes,
the candy cigarettes.
Yeah, those lasted a while because I didn't smoke. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and the fact of imitating it wasn't really that appealing either.
I was a big Snickers person until I threw up a whole bag of Snickers at my grandma's once. And then I didn't need to have Snickers again for 15
That will satisfy
years.
You?
Right.
Oh, crap, man.
Grandma.
That's horrible. Yeah. Oh, man. Where do you stand on the Milk Dud Slowpoke / what's the what was it? It was called Slowpoke, wasn't it? Like the Milk Duds on a stick.
On a bar, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like Milk Duds. Never liked Slowpokes. You telling me that they're the same thing blows my mind because really? But I mean,
oh man,
I'm sure I've eaten a couple, but
those are filling removers, man.
Yeah,
they were just gross.
That's I don't know. I wasn't a big taffy. Anything that's really sticky or gummy in my teeth. That wasn't what I enjoyed. So
yeah, there's some candies that are just still the grossest stuff out there. And what was the one thing you received that you were like, what the heck is this?
I can't remember anything. I mean, sure, there'd be like pamphlets and things people wouldn't give, why is there an apple in my, a caramel apple, that wasn't what I wanted, or even coins, this is Halloween. Don't give me, 10 nickels. I'm not going to go buy my own, but thanks for the comic book, but, it's just give me the candy. I'm a big licorice person. I like black licorice, red licorice.
Not red vines.
But, I kind of like red vines too. Don't tell my brother.
Are you a Red Vines person or a Twizzlers person?
I mean, me personally, I'm a Twizzlers person, but I only like the pull and peel Twizzlers.
Yeah, those are good though, because that one is like, it's one of those like,
So
can I
soft.
pace myself and I'll peel off a piece, or am I just gluttonous at the moment and just want to just devour it?
Right, yeah. So I am a sucker for that. Even to this day, I probably do a bag a month. I'm pretty good about no sugar, low sugar. You know, getting older, you have to watch out for some of that stuff.
Yeah, eventually I'll figure that part out.
Yeah.
My body's already telling me that, but my mind isn't.
I know we both have diabetic parents, so that's
Yeah,
something we'll
that's
have to watch out for. Fun.
Thanks for bringing it down, Andy.
Yeah,
No.
getting old's fun. You'll enjoy it too, you youngins.
Yeah. Wait until when you reach down to grab something and then your knees say, no, you're not coming back up.
Right. You're done
That's-
for the day. In fact, you got to go to the doctor because you're done for the week.
Yeah, when somebody, nothing's nothing's worse than when you actually have to grab hold of something and pull yourself back up. I've had that happen once where it's like I just squatted a little bit too far down and I had been down there for too long that my legs just kind of like,
Go
uh-oh.
numb.
Yeah, it's like, oh man. Now, I don't know, a really good friend of mine, he's from Malaysia, and he and I were talking, and we got laughing about what's called the Asian squat. I don't know if you're familiar with this term, or it sounds kind of horrifying, but it's just like there is a particular type where you just sit and you squat, and it's this comfortable position, and everybody does it. And I asked him about it. I was like, is that legit? And he goes, oh, yeah, this is like we all. And he just dropped right into that position like nothing. And it's just like, yeah, right here, I could be in this position all day. So we were just messing around, and he's, the photographer we use as well. So I was trying to do that, and all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, I can't get my knees, I can't go back up. And it's like, oh dang, this is not good. And so there's like, mercifully, there was like a couple of boxes nearby, and I like had to basically like push as if I had no body underneath, like, my spine ended and there was no hip bone whatsoever. I had no control over the musculature of my legs. It was just gone. So I just had to push myself up on boxes, and it looked like old man things. And he was just laughing at me like, you gotta be kidding me, man.
Look, I'm not Asian, okay?
Yeah, look at, they didn't call it the Irish squat for
Right.
it. It was called the Asian squat.
That's terrible.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the worst candy I could think of, and the Mary Jane's right up there amongst the worst.
Yeah.
Bit of honey right up there amongst the worst.
That used to be my favorite. I guess I take it back that I didn't like really sticky stuff in my
Oh,
teeth. I really liked that. But it's like it was eating steel with
yeah, it was
honey
like a
flavor.
bit of nasty. Because it was the one candy. Eventually, it would, just for the sheer fact that it's like it was still technically contained sugar, that I would ultimately wind up consuming it. But the ones that we would throw out, they were either in orange wax paper or that dark brown wax paper, and they're twisted on the sides. Discs of nastiness, and it was like it had like almost like a gooey peanut butter center to it, but it was
Like a
just
taffy.
yeah, it was the grossest candy. And these things were like, you couldn't, like, here, you have one Tic Tac or a pillowcase full of these candies. And I'd be like, I'll take the one Tic Tac.
Give me the Tic Tac, please.
Yeah, please. I would rather just eat that one little thing and be done with candy rather than having just an endless supply of those orange and brown wrapped monstrosities. Yes, I did find the name. This is like a trio of like everything wrong is all phrased in together. Ready? These things were made by Necco, the people who give you those
The Necco wafers.
Necco wafers. Yeah, basically like candy formed of coins. Mary Jane, so they're Necco Mary Jane candies, And so it's already like Necco, strike one. Mary Jane's, yep, they're connected to the Mary Jane brand. That's strike two. And they are referred to as peanut butter kisses made with real peanut butter, which is kind of nice that they call them peanut butter kisses. But I thought there was only a limited amount of these candies ever made, and since no one eats them, they just get passed the next Halloween to the next poor soul. And they're just handed off from one generation to the next. This is the same piece of.
They only made it for 1 year, and then it's just all that still being passed on.
Yeah, I ain't gonna eat it. Yeah. Well, it's Halloween again. Give it away to some other poor sap.
The only Mary Jane I like is from Tom Petty.
Yes. Now, as far as costumes go, how did you fare with costumes? Did you have one that kind of you went back to every year as just like a staple, or did you wind up getting a new one every Halloween?
No, I know early on when I was younger, we had those plastic masks that you couldn't really see out of and were more of a hazard than they were a costume. And then there was like a paper costume, thin plastic, crinkled when you walked. And those were usually when you were covering up anyway, just because you were embarrassed. So, well, after that, like I think there was a Scooby-Doo. I think I was 1 year. I ended up, my mom had made me a Darth Vader costume.
Nice.
Which was, it wasn't great, but it was, back then it was worthy to wear. So I probably wore that out for my final 4 or 5 trick-or-treatings. And I do remember going as a hobo once. Let's make fun of vagrants, unemployed, poor people who have to travel on trains. Let's make fun of them by dressing up as Halloween characters. So I do remember that, maybe a year or two of that, but I think that was about it. I don't know. How about you?
Early elementary, I had one costume and I wore that all the way through like 5th grade. And formerly it was a poodle costume. It had floppy ears on it. My mom got like a swatch of black leather, stitched that to the front of the costume, took the ears off of it, and found a plastic, one of those vacuum formed gorilla masks, and wore that thing. That stuff was like it sliced your lips. You could, like you said, barely see out of the thing. It would just fill up with your own breath.
You know how much chemical smell we got from those old masks and stuff, just breathing it all in. Oh, it's safe, no problem. Wink, wink.
Yeah, it was probably lead paint that was used to cover it all as well. So I think I went trick-or-treating in middle school, but I can't recall if it just was like the 6th grade year and that was the end of it, or if it went any further. But I remember trying to pawn off a Han Solo costume and it not being effective in the least. It was like every time I went up to a house, it's like, who are you supposed to be? Because it's like, when you think about it, like your homemade Han Solo costume was a guy wearing a vest, and that was basically all you could do. Well, there used to be some things that you would associate only with a certain time of year, like marshmallow peeps. That was only an Easter item. For Halloween, they got them for Christmas. And then, candy corn was definitely a Halloween only.
Do you like candy corn? Admit it. You like candy.
If you put it with like heavily salted peanuts, that combination's really good.
Yeah.
But if you just gave me a bag of candy corn, it's like, boy, that'd be tough doing.
Yeah, I'm always, great candy corn, and then after like the 3rd one, I'm like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I could go another year, and then go, candy corn, and then yeah.
But then you also have to make sure it's the right brand. There's some brands called like Palmer and Zachary. Those are like, candle wax shaped to look like a piece of corn, and then we'll put a drop of sugar to kind of help offset it.
My dad used to always eat Peeps around Easter. Like, he just loved them. And I think I did for a little while. But I mean, he is like every Easter, I know what to buy him, and buy him.
Yeah, that's a safe bet.
Right, yeah, that's a safe bet. He just loved them. Admittedly, when they're stale, they're actually still really good. So, there's one thing, but
we actually had a neighbor up the street who had freshly baked donuts. That was a tradition. Everybody would go to her house because she had these fresh baked donuts. But then obviously when the scare kicked in and parents were like, what? That's not wrapped. That's not professionally made. That's not. So then she would kind of like look and go, okay, you're a neighborhood kid. I can give you one of these donuts. You're not a neighborhood kid. Here's a tiny, lifesaver pack or whatever it was. But
not one of us.
Yeah, and it's like, it was a shame because those things were just, they were piping hot. You'd eat them right there. You wouldn't even that wouldn't even hit the bottom of your bag. That was like, the mask's coming off. Gonna eat this thing. And it was phenomenal. That was, something we really looked forward to. Well, that was a lot of Halloween talk.
And that's why I love candy.
I think about it more related to candy than I do about it being a scary or a representation of, a certain, the autumn solstice or whatever. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, no, I think Halloween equals candy. Done.
Does your house get decorated in scariness or anything like that?
It depends. Some years we have gone excessively overboard with the Halloween in the spooky style, but then this year is more about fall and harvests and pumpkins and scarecrows. And
now every October I start my pumpkin seeds cooking marathon, which I have done the last couple of years. This year I'm way behind on my cooking, but I do a couple batches. Last year I did 12 batches of pumpkin seeds because we love them here, and I experiment. And every year I find by the third or fourth time I find the perfect mix, and then I forget to write it down. So next year I have to then recalculate and do the perfect mix and slow simmer and all that stuff. Are you a big pumpkin seed eater?
Yeah, not the professional pumpkin seeds, but
they're gross.
Yeah, but if you gave me someone's home brew pumpkin seeds, that I'll be all over that.
Saltier the better.
Oh man, yeah. There's a brand, and I can't remember what it is, Brian's pumpkin seeds or something like that, and they've got them coated with so much salt that it's it's basically encapsulated in solidified block of salt, and the seed is somehow in there.
Could eat it 200 years later.
Oh yeah, it is. Oh man, you pop that in your mouth, and it's like, wow, your body's 76% water. It just sucked it all right up.
We read a book
that we did
today. I mean,
speed read it if that's the case.
Read a book, and we're gonna talk about it. Does have a Halloween theme, which is why we've been talking about Halloween so much. It's from 1996 from Jeff Loeb and the late Tim Sale. It's Batman The Long Halloween from DC Comics.
Just in time for the holidays. Right?
I did want to mention that we've gotten a few emails, and we did get a funny one from Matt 10.0. He was listening to our comic quiz episode, and he admitted that he sucks at DC trivia, but he also wanted to add in that his favorite TV theme song for our karaoke bar would have been the Jeffersons.
Oh yeah, moving on up.
Right? I don't even think we mentioned that.
No, it is an epitome of a classic.
Yeah, how did we forget that? That was
Got too caught up in Sanford and Son and the
right.
Golden Girls.
Yeah, I think so. It's like we were clouded by Sanford and Son. But yeah, the Jeffersons is a classic, and
man, that is a good one.
man, I know every word of that one.
Exactly. To the east side.
I would
Deluxe
kill it.
apartment in the sky.
Like, I had my doubts at Sanford and Son, but the Jeffersons, I would nail that sucker.
Oh, man.
I would get all the hot chicks.
Just swooning on that.
Isn't that the whole point of karaoke? Come on. Yeah, thanks, Matt 10.0. We'll talk to you eventually. I've been
Yes.
trying to wrangle times, and then I kind of fell off the map for a while. But, you know,
coordinating
we'll get back to
schedules.
that. Maybe we'll have a holiday special or something, you know.
Yeah. We can all gather around the Yule log and
Right.
talk about various things, reminisce about the year that's gone and the year yet to come.
But, you know,
Instantly
great
crushed.
idea, though. So the Long Halloween.
Yeah, let's
It's a
talk about
Batman story. We haven't done a Batman story, have we?
it. We've had stories with Batman.
Right, but not just a Batman story. That's like doing a Spider-Man story, which we haven't done either, you know.
Nope. No, we have not.
We've done a Superman. We've done
Yep.
a lot of
Yeah,
events.
All-Star Superman.
But yeah, this is our first Batman. I don't know your opinion on the story. I assume it's similar to mine. What did you think overall of The Long Halloween?
I liked it. Was it as great as it could have been? No. And there was a lot of moments where I felt like, how many double-page spreads are there in these books? I was like, are you running a little thin on story? It was a good Batman story, and I really, if there's ever Batman stories to be told, it's this era of Batman. Young Batman, no Robin, there's no Bat family, it's just him. The villains are the classics. You know, there's a lot of mistrust all the way around for both the heroes and the bad guys, obviously.
This is definitely year one, year two Batman.
Yeah, I mean, the characters even came from Frank Miller's year one. The whole Falcone and, you know, the mob. So I know that they had done, and that was going to be one of the questions I asked, was they obviously, DC being, you know, capitalizing on whatever success they can get their hands on. When Batman Year 1 proved to be successful, they quickly came out with Batman Year 2 that was like, what the heck is this? And that was like an early McFarlane Batman title. And then they did Batman Year 3 that introduced Robin. But this was kind of like, yeah, we're going to kind of ignore all those other ones, and we're just going to pick right up as if Year 1 was the only thing that was out there.
Right. And I haven't read year one. I think I've paged through it a few times, but I've never owned it, so I have never read it.
Wow.
I know it's good.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of like Batman Year 1 better than Dark Knight Returns. You know, Mazzucchelli or whatever his name is, David Mazzucchelli. The art's beautiful, very film noir, simple. It has a very Alex Toth approach feel to it. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, this almost picks up like the very next day from that. Yeah, all in all, I will say I liked it. Could it ever live up to kind of the hype that has been given? Probably not. And I always appreciate when they put in a story for Batman that has a detective aspect to it.
Absolutely. That's why
mystery.
I did enjoy that aspect of it. It wasn't straightforward. There was a mystery. They didn't feed you who it was right away. They left some clues. I thought it was pretty well written. I loved this book originally when I read it some time ago. I probably didn't read it when it came out. I think I got it first in the trade, probably in the 2000s, maybe. And then this reread, I didn't like it as much. One, I knew who, like I still remembered who it was, so that mystery was gone. But there was a couple other aspects that 50-plus-year-old me just... some of the Tim Sale art wasn't as fresh to me as I liked. I didn't like his Catwoman one bit. Especially out of costume. Like, I didn't mind her in uniform. but I didn't like the way he did the hair and how it was always blending in with the background. But overall, I thought it was a great story. Liked that the Joker was in it, but he wasn't in it for more than like an issue. And then he showed up again a little later, but he wasn't overwhelming. It was more of a Two-Face story with a lot of other characters thrown in at the same time. There was a lot I did like about it. I loved the Solomon Grundy part.
Yeah, almost made him sympathetic.
I liked the relationship between Gordon and Batman and Dent. I love that trio. It wasn't as great as I thought it was. And that's probably just because of a reread and the mystery wasn't a mystery.
Yeah.
But it was still quality. Tim Sale is a great artist. Some of this wasn't as great as I remembered it. And then some of it was wonderful. Like there was parts of it that were just great. And then there was some of it that was Tim Sale, not great, but it was still better than your average artist. So, that's like saying Art Adams had a bad day. It's still Art Adams,
Still, yeah, exactly.
I would definitely put him up there as one of the great Batman artists.
Really solid storyteller.
Yeah.
I look at it the same as with Frank Miller. Anatomy kind of goes out the window many a times, but the dynamics are always there. My beef with Catwoman, oddly, was in reverse. I never liked that Catwoman costume that I can't remember if it's like the Jim Barrett or something like that. I can't remember the guy's name.
Ballant?
Yeah, that might have been it.
Yeah, the big mouse ears.
Yeah, and I was never a fan of that costume. I had two versions of this. I got like the deluxe version of this, and then I got like a black and white. And the black and white saved it to a degree. But the purple and the blue, it just was like, I did not like that costume. And I don't know if that was just like, that's the Catwoman as she appears in the Catwoman series that's out at that time, or what. But I was like, I don't like that costume at all.
Right.
Yeah. The Darwin Cook, that Catwoman costume is phenomenal.
Oh, I totally agree with that.
But yeah, this one was like,
gives me tingles.
There's a stirring in my utility belt. I like the pacing of the book for the most part. Like I said, towards the end of the series, there was a lot of double page spreads, and it seemed like we got 22 pages here, and I'm just gonna go. And I couldn't tell whether it was just like, because some of the spreads didn't seem to work. It was kind of like, yeah, we just kind of did that to kind of spread out the pacing of the story a little bit more.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it was 13 issues. I thought it was 12, but it was 13 issue run.
Yeah. Started in Halloween and ended in Halloween.
Right. Yeah, definitely got to stop.
Here we go.
Dang it.
For those who play the definitely drinking game,
start counting. Start
here
drinking.
Here we go. We're well underway.
Yeah, the premise is there's a murder going on every holiday, which is what they named the villain. Holiday, someone in the Falcone family dies, murdered by the same weapon or type of weapon, and a little token is left at the murder scene and the gun, and it's based on the holiday. Throughout Gotham City for a year, there's this mystery of who the killer is. There's the two warring factions of mob bosses, which a part of me not enjoying it this time is similar to some of the problems I had at the beginning. Was there's just so many family members, and they exist, but then they'd appear and they'd explain who they are, and then that person would die shortly afterwards. And there's a couple that survived, but for the most part, everyone you were introduced to died eventually at the hands of the holiday killer. And it ended up Like, I stopped after the first couple were really cool. I stopped caring who died because it's just another token character. They just got to kill somebody. And at one point, it was they finally switch it up to somebody that brought another mystery. And why was this person killed? And I wish there was more of that. Like, I mean, it made sense of the story. It was just my. Like, oh, okay, yeah, another, yep, they all died, yep, okay, oh, great. After 12 issues of it, it was a little repetitive.
Yeah. Well, I kind of go back to the Angela Lansbury, who passed away this week as well, but Murder, She Wrote. Wherever Angela Lansbury's character, Jessica Fletcher, would go, someone was going to die.
Right.
And you could kind of like, okay, this person's the jerk. They're going to be the one who dies.
Right.
Who's the person who's least likely to have done it? Okay, they're the murderers. It became extremely formulaic and extremely predictable. But yeah, I liked a lot of the story, and like the mystery that was in play. Some of it was a little contrived, and like you said, yeah, there's a lot of referencing of this family member who was the sister, the nephew, the son, it just kind of like, boy, they just took out the entire family, which is kind of explained. All in all, it was still had at least a semblance of a mystery, whether it was a good mystery or not.
Yeah.
If it was a repetitive mystery or not, doesn't really matter. It was Batman trying to solve it and, getting to the bottom of it all.
Yeah, I liked how they weaved in the Batman villains into the story. Like, you knew they weren't the holiday killer, but they were still weaved into the story, like as hitman or hired out. I really like the Poison Ivy aspect of it, where Tim Sale drew her with this. She was a plant, like tree growing, leaves growing everywhere, and she mind controlled these people. And Bruce Wayne was mind controlled too. And some of my problem with the story was based on that month that he was controlled by Poison Ivy, and they just skipped to the next issue. They kind of had to tell that because that's how they were doing it. Each issue was another holiday. I liked how they had that, and the Scarecrow was really cool in this one, although he was really easy to beat each time. One punch to the head.
Yeah, some of them were handled a little bit more like with focus and enthusiasm, and others were just kind of like, cameo appearance, bye, and they're out. One thing I did like, and it kind of goes back to like what you were saying about it, it's somewhat repetitive, but it was a year of transition for Gotham. It goes from being this town run by the mob to being a town run by these super villains.
Yeah.
So as the story progresses, you can see that the mob characters are getting picked off one by one, but more and more villains start to appear and are added to the story. So it's kind of this like, as one is on the decline, the other's on the rise until ultimately they are replaced. And even at the end, all the villains, all these super villains gather together under one roof to take out the mob, the remaining mob. And I thought that was an interesting way to kind of explain like how Batman went from being like a guy against the mob. It's like he's got this rogues gallery, and that's his primary antagonist. So I liked that kind of explanation of the series of like, okay, now, again, like I said, at the very end, it was almost exclusively all the bad guys of Batman's rogues gallery, and all the mob members are no longer there.
Yeah, that was a good way to transition between that. I mean, I was surprised that there were that many villains that he used. Imagined in my head it was a smaller story. Nope, all the main rogues were there. Pretty much. It was short Ra's al Ghul, and there was no Bane, of course, because it was early on, or KG Beast, or all the garbage villains later. Weren't there. So it was kind of nice to see the original Rogues Gallery there at the beginning, and you saw the creation of Two-Face, which I thought was well done. I love the Two-Face Harvey Dent stuff with his wife and Gordon. Like, I think that was the strength for me reading that, and just seeing the transition. I thought the writing was probably stronger than the art for this story. I liked what Jeff Loeb did. That's probably my favorite thing he's written, because there's some stuff I haven't liked that he's written. You know, some of it on a first read is like, oh, that's pretty cool, and then on a second read, it's like, yeah, Harvey mentions the number 2 a lot, and you know, it was maybe overdone a bit. You know, like every opportunity out of his mouth was, you know, about yin and yang, or, you know, flip of a coin, and you know, all these two-faced references of twos. And I remember liking it a lot, because I thought I was, when I first read it, I probably thought I was, hey, I'm catching on to this little gimmick, and no, it's pretty obvious, you know. It's you're not as smart as you think you are, kind of thing for me, but I was young back then. It was the 90s.
I also wonder if it's, you know, because of it being like, this was not released as one volume initially, but a matter of it being carried over, you know, 13 months with 13 separate publications. If it's some of the issue is revolving around that, where it's like, you know, he uses the number 2 a lot, and it's like, well, maybe he only used it maybe once an issue, and then you would pick it up again the next month, and then, oh, he said it again. Okay, that's okay. But because we're reading it in like, you know, one marathon session as one continuous story without any, you know, 30-day pause between, it's like, oh yeah, you probably would not have noticed it as readily. You know, it was good to have a lot of these villains in there. Downside of this book is that Jeff Loeb comes back. I didn't read any of the sequels or the prequels or whatever else that Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb had done. Jeff Loeb teams up with Jim Lee for that Hush series in the Batman titles. The sad thing there is there's overall a lot of similarities. That kind of put a little bit of a damper on the reread of this, because it's like, oh yeah, there's actually some similarities.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to introduce a new villain, in this case, you know, Holiday or Hush. We're going to engage one at a time, part of the Rogues Gallery. There's going to be some new characters that are added to be just thrown away. It has that mystery, and it's carried over, you know, a similar amount of time, you know, same number of issues, that kind of a thing. It's like, it's not, like I said, it's not apples to apples. I mean, they're not exactly the same story. Author, same, you know, Batman trying to figure this out, but in the meantime, he's got, the villain is engaging all of these other Rogues Gallery characters to kind of step in, and conveniently, it's one villain per issue.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot about Hush. I remember buying it because of Jim Lee back then, but I know I read it and then sold it, so I don't have a big memory of that. I guess Tim Sale and Jeff Loeb did a 3-part Batman Legends of the Dark Knight Halloween specials. And then that led them to this one, and then Dark Victory. And then I forgot about Catwoman When in Rome, which is also in this universe timeline, which I only have a couple issues. I don't have the full set of Catwoman one. But, you know, now I want to kind of read that. I wonder.
Yeah. That one. You know, but I mean, this is the era where Batman is fallible. You know, he's not the Bat God that he's now in all. I know how to take out every member of the Justice League, right. And I can do it in 10 seconds. And it's like, this dude is just a dude in a costume.
Right. And he has to be a detective to figure things out, not just know things.
Yeah.
I've already figured it out with no explanation whatsoever. I figured it out, 5 issues ago, but I haven't led anything on. But I can't tell you how I know, because I just know.
Oh, yeah. Selena Kyle, he's meeting up with her as a non-Batman character, but it's like Bruce Wayne having a life as Bruce Wayne.
I kept trying to figure out whether she knew he was Batman. I mean, I figured out they didn't, but I kept going back and forth, like, do they know?
Did they?
Do they not know the way they're talking? And maybe that's the way they want you to try to figure it out. But I assume they didn't know at that point in time. I'm not sure if that was good writing or bad writing.
But it got you wondering, and that's
Right.
you know,
So that's good, right?
it wound up being good regardless of. Yeah, I went back and forth on that too. It's like, she follows Batman wherever he's at, so you think that, well, she probably follows him back to the Batcave or follows him back to what's this place underneath Wayne Manor. So you do kind of wonder if there was some knowledge there, but there's sometimes where it seems to be implied, like, well, it's your loss. And then, like, later on, they meet up as Bruce Wayne and Selena Kyle, and it's like, well, I guess not.
Right. Oh, you got a cut on your face, Bruce. It's like,
Yeah.
Does she know that that's hit her cut, or?
Yeah, they're trying to play it off like, you know that I know that you know that I know, kind of a thing.
Are we going to pretend we don't know?
Keep this charade up.
Right.
It had, like you said, the core Rogues Gallery was there, including some, off the side ones where, like, the Calendar Man, I think, was like the most on the obscure level character that they had included into the series. But that character was instrumental. The Holiday Killer was killing on key days of the year, and Calendar Man was perpetrating crimes on key days of the year. So it kind of kept coming back to, like, is he Calendar Man? Is he not Calendar Man? Or a Holiday? And then so forth. So it worked out really well in that regard to kind of keep that mystery going too.
Yeah, I always thought, is he running? He's not doing it, but he's telling who to do where.
Yeah.
But it ended up not being him. I mean, I liked his inclusion. I almost wish he was in it a little more, so I don't think that paid off a lot. I liked how they wove that, and there was this Thomas Wayne. My father helped the Falcones early on, so Bruce Wayne is involved in the Falcone family, and how Harvey Dent considered him a suspect, and I kind of liked how that all wove together. Was woven. We wove to wove, and,
to wove,
and how it was all worked out like that. Like there was enough. I almost think there was too many characters on one hand, but I like that they were all woven together. So many characters that you were never sure which character was introduced was a possibility for the killer or the victim. I mean, you pretty much knew the victims as they showed up, but there was enough characters to where it wasn't real obvious who it was. So there was a legitimate mystery.
Now, do you feel that the resolution, and I know we've been dancing around the explaining how this thing ended, but
this is where we do a spoiler alert. If you haven't read the Halloween
from 1997
and haven't seen the TV show, we were gonna watch the cartoon, but we both didn't make it through the whole thing. I don't know if that's the direction they did with the cartoon, what they did here, but. Yeah, if you don't want to be spoiled at all, then stop it and go watch it or go read it and then come back. Right now, we're not going through page by page, so there'll be still some mysteries for you.
The reveal, I don't know if you read a lot of Agatha Christie, but there was one book in particular, and now it's been considered a little too problematic, but originally it was called 10 Little Indians.
Were they in a cupboard?
Oh, they did in the cupboard. Oh, man. Did you ever watch that? Like, I didn't read the book, but I remember watching the movie, and it's like, whoo, that's a rough one.
Yeah, I blotted it out.
I think it was like, I don't know if it was, I can't remember which one came first, but it was either 10 Little Indians was the name of it, but then it was also called something like, and then there were none. So it was kind of like using that 10 Little Indians, and at the end of the little poem, it wrapped up with saying, and then there were none. Agatha Christie was notorious for referencing like children's nursery rhymes and pulling titles out for her books. In it, there is and if you want spoilers to that one, going even further back now, a century-old novel one of the characters fakes their death. All the other characters, die outright, but then one, they kind of stumble across this person and he's dead. And it's really kind of corny how it was, explained. I kind of was like reading this thing through. I knew one of the endings of this storyline, the one that was the twist that resonated and stuck. But the one that was like, oh, one of the people that were murdered was not murdered. And that was kind of a classic hallmark of this, 10 little Indians, and then there were none.
Yeah, it was interesting. Who was accused of being the holiday killer? And
the initial reveal, and going back to the Agatha Christie approach, being that it was basically
Darth
the son. Yeah. He said that he was Luke's dad? What?
I don't believe that's not true. That's
impossible.
There's our Star Wars quote. Okay, go.
Yeah. We just needed one to fit dirt in there somehow.
That's right.
Sand. Yeah, it was like the Roman's son who you didn't see his body. Everybody else, they showed the body, but his body was apparently thrown off the boat. And it's like, bum, bum, bum. His was the only one to kind of like, oh, they didn't show his body. That's true. So it held to it. There wasn't like, wait a minute, you clearly died. Somebody lied. And it's like, no, he fell off. But I don't know, did they ever explain where he picked up? Because the twist points it out as being something different.
Right, yeah. They don't explain, and I don't buy that he even did what he did, but Alberto, was the holiday killer.
Falcone.
According to him, even, he said, I'm not sure how he was capable of doing all that he did. It's comic books, sure, whatever. He can do it, but then the twist later, a lot of the story was regarding whether Harvey Dent was the holiday killer, even though he wasn't Two-Face for 90% of the book. And then it ends up with a surprise twist at the end that his wife, Gilda, who I don't know that she was ever in anything else. Like, does she die? And then, like, later on, I seem to recall Two-Face's wife dying, but I don't know. She was a really cool character. I was hoping. I haven't looked her up or anything like that, so I don't know. Maybe they used her later, but she ended up being the original holiday killer, which was very interesting. That she was just there trying to finish Harvey's workload, or just trying to simplify things.
Get their lives going, because he was getting so engrossed. All of his time was spent as being the DA and not able to spend a moment trying to build a family.
Right. A wonderful mystery. I did enjoy it. There were some aspects, and even when I say it's bad, it was just like, really? Okay. Yeah, I guess, whatever. Like Alberto, like, well, how did he learn how to shoot all that? Or, where was Bruce Wayne for the month that Poison Ivy was controlling him? Like, what? Did Selina really wait a whole month before investigating his weirdness, after seeing, okay, I guess.
And you think that they would have fired up the bat signal before that at some point, in Batman not showing up?
Right, because I always assumed during this year he was still having other adventures. Like, there was still, it wasn't just this year of monthly or holiday killings. There was still other crime going on, and he was doing stuff. So it's like, and then Solomon Grundy. I love Solomon Grundy, but why was he in this story?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it was just, again, it's a case of, and that's why I think it was a little bit bothersome when I remembered Hush. I'm just going to make a mess of cameos, because this is going to be a star-studded story. Solomon Grundy, it could have easily have been Killer Croc and had the same method.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he was there. I liked the interaction between him and Harvey Dent, Solomon Grundy and Harvey Dent, and Batman. Even Batman leaving him a little Thanksgiving food. That's great. It was great when he was there. I didn't see the big picture of why he was there, other than being the big brute at the end when all the villains got together. But even then, he didn't really do anything.
No. Let me ask you, this is something, it's an acquired taste and it's very much an artistic choices. What do you think of Tim Sale's Joker?
I think we both share infinite non-love for the Joker.
Yeah.
At least now.
It needs to be retired
Yeah.
for a while. Give the character a rest. So
He's
that,
overdone.
overexposed.
The big teeth.
The 1,000
jaw.
teeth.
I'm not crazy about his Joker. You can stylize the Joker and get away with it. So he didn't bother me as much as the Selena Kyle stuff. A lot of the villains I thought cool, but their over-exaggeratedness, that's just Tim Sale's art style, so I guess I didn't judge it too harshly. I wasn't even crazy about his Two-Face. The scarred side just didn't wow me like I thought it would, but again, it's still wonderful art. I don't even like him when he's drawn normally, usually. So it was almost refreshing to see him kind of be as obnoxious looking as I find the character to be. So I guess I don't mind Tim Sale's version of the Joker. I just don't like the Joker.
Oddly enough, or coincidentally, I had just watched someone who put a video documentary together about the fall of National Lampoon, and they basically said it can be exemplified by Christmas Vacation 2. And it's like, oh yeah, Christmas Vacation. Now, is that a great movie? It's okay. It's a classic in the regards of like people always fire that one up at Christmas time. They did a sequel to it and it focuses purely on Cousin Eddie. And this documentary said that character of Cousin Eddie works when he's a supporting cast member, but not the focus. Yeah. And the Christmas Vacation 2 is like Eddie's island escape or something like that, and they get stranded on an island. And it's really a bad movie, but it's like the character was introduced in the first Vacation movie. He was only on it for like 9 minutes, and that's what made the character enjoyable. You only saw him for 9 minutes, and you were left wanting more of the character. But then when they did Christmas Vacation 2, and it's nothing but Cousin Eddie, you're like, oh, this is absolute garbage. I can't deal with this at all. When is this going to end? And the same thing holds true with Joker. It's like, in this series, he is a side character. He's not the main character. He's got like one issue dedicated to him, and then he shows up at the end and gets quickly punched out. Right. Doesn't even have a speaking line in the second one, I don't think. And then it's like, that's it. That's all you get for the Joker. It's like, I can deal with that.
Yep.
He's not the main character. He's not the main focus. He's not the main villain. He's just there and barely at that.
And I even liked his introduction or his inclusion in this is because he was mad he wasn't more into it, and he wanted to kill Holiday so that he could get the limelight. Like, it made sense. Like, hey, I'm the main villain. I'm going to kill everybody in this area because one of them's bound to be Holiday, right? And so if I kill everybody, then I've got him eventually. And, I actually enjoyed
Good
that. Made me chuckle when he was flying in the plane. And it kind of made me think of the Tim Burton, kind of outlandish plane flying around. Yeah. Kind of
Where does it get those wonderful toys?
Right. Out of all the Joker appearances, this one didn't bother me at all. Okay, now let me ask you a question. Jim Gordon, he has a daughter named Barbara, and his wife is Barbara. But when did he have a son named James? And where is James now?
And that was introduced in the year one. Frank Miller put that together.
Did James die?
I don't know.
Because you never talk about him. You never hear about him.
I wondered about that too, because I came across a similar thing of like the mom is named Barbara. And it's like, I know, tradition has it that usually the dad passes the name down to the son and it becomes a junior. But then it's like, what happens when it's a mom passing the name down to a daughter?
It's a Fraulein.
That's I mean, it doesn't seem like that would be unprecedented, but it does seem like, it would be weird if he passed his name down to his son and then she passed her name down to their daughter.
Right. We
And it's
just
like,
continue on down the line.
ourselves. Yeah, we just cloned ourselves down the road.
James and Barbara, all down the line. The family tree is so screwed up because you can't even tell. It's like, what's going on here? Just thinking, who is this son? And how come he's not more prominent now? Or, I could look it up, sure, but I kind of like this idea of not knowing. Like, I'm sure they brought him up again. It's comic books. They probably brought him up 1,000 times somewhere, and he's probably Hush in some different alternate timeline or something. But, yeah, it was just weird. Like, I didn't remember that they had 2 children. It was always Barbara. I'm sure something tragic happened to him, I guess, but I don't remember a story.
It only makes sense in the comic book continuity that would be what would happen.
He got written out of the story and is gone now and forgotten. You know what I think? I think James is really Dick Grayson. That's it. And that's where it all connects. Adopted by a circus family of acrobats, James Gordon becomes Dick Grayson. Is it too good of an idea? Any other things about The Long Halloween before we wrap it up?
I think, like I said, the twist ending, while good, kind of left a little bit more questions than it kind of answered, but I liked it, and I thought it was a good kind of like explanation as to why there was a series, because every month that issue came out, murder coincided with a holiday of that month. I thought that was a great gimmick to tie all this series together. Did the holiday character come back later on? And I liked that it kind of ended with Holiday and Calendar Man being basically, in prison across the hall from each other.
Cellmates.
Yeah, and they just kind of went back and forth talking about different, like, who could find a more obscure holiday. So I thought that was kind of a nice little touch at the end. And it kind of gave a nice little epilogue where it shows, like, Two-Face in his solitary confinement, and he references his wife, and, kind of gave a nice bit of closure to all these, like, and this is where they're at now for future telling, future stories, if they want to pick up from where they had left off. That was good. Obviously, the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale pairing went on for decades, probably at this point, because you think about all the Marvel books that they had tied, themselves together on. This is, they did that, Superman for All Seasons, the Prestige series. So, it was a great pairing. I mean, they worked extremely well together, and they captured a lot of classic storylines. It's just unfortunate that Tim Sale is no longer with us to continue doing these things.
Yeah. So, would you recommend this story to a person?
You know what? I think, because we read it at this time of the year, and we went through the entire 13 issues with a Halloween backdrop, I think it worked great at this time of year. Now, would I recommend somebody reading it in May? Maybe not. Yeah,
you tell them to read The Boys in May.
Yeah, the entire run of The Boys before we can jump onto The Long Halloween.
Right.
But no, it was just, I don't know, it's just something like, there are certain things that you do at certain times of the year, and it just feels right. Not that you couldn't. Like I said, the Marshmallow Peeps, to me, that made more sense at Easter, and I would eat them then, but they still produce Marshmallow Peeps all year round, and you could, but it just kind of takes some of the magic out of it when it's not in the right time frame. So I would recommend it, but I kind of would say, like, okay, this is the month. Read The Long Halloween this month. Because I even had debates with some friends as to, is The Nightmare Before Christmas, do you watch it at Halloween or do you watch it at Christmas time?
It's a Halloween movie.
Like, it's a Halloween movie, yeah. And some people will say it's a Christmas movie because it's all about the spirit of Christmas.
Die Hard.
No, don't get me started on that monstrous.
We agree to disagree on that one.
Yes. Yeah, just because it had, never mind. We'll stop it there.
It needs a fall weather pattern.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you don't eat chili really in the summertime. That's more of a hearty bundle up and get warm and have a big old bowl of chili in the fall.
So if you have an opinion on the long Halloween, please let us know. We appreciate you listening to the episode and giving your opinion. Please give us a 5-star review if you like the show. Tell a friend, and then tell that friend to tell a friend, and tell that friend to get some sleep. But then tell a friend and to read The Long Halloween, but only in the fall. That's the rule we just made up, and you must stick with it. So, and this is why I love comics, I am Andy.
And I am Mike.
Yeah. So, thanks Thunder Chicken for letting us use their music. Go check them out on Spotify. I don't know why I suddenly slowed down for that. Go check them out on Spotify for once. Jeez. Come on.
We could dress up as Thunder Chicken for Halloween. That might be a good costume.
Don't make me send the Scarecrow after you. Have a great Halloween, even though it's probably past by the time this is out.
Yeah. I had a great Halloween.
I hope you had a great Halloween. And
you might do a couple of edits. You could do like have a great Halloween, and I hope you had a great Halloween. And it just depends on where it is. You just
I hope you dressed up and had a good time. Yeah,
good times. There's another Halloween. That's another.
Hey! Oh wait, that's Dynamite.
Yeah. Jimmy J.J. Walker.
Okay. Thunder Chicken.
Chevrolet Death Squad! That's right!
J.M. DeMatteis or however you want to pronounce it.
I always said DeMatteis.
Oh, that seems about right.
Like Amadeus.
Amadeus.
Another great song from the 80s, from our childhood.